I'm going to come at this and approach it with love and compassion, because that's what my daughter would want. That's what she would do. But I'm also going to be firm about this, because comments like these are not fair. Just because there are scammers and grifters doesn't mean that all of us are. I don't care about the money. I will sleep on these couches the entire time my daughter is here recovering. That GoFundMe was made by my best friend at a low amount to cover costs for a potential funeral and memorial and cremation, all that kind of stuff, if that were to happen. Why? Because that night we were told that at that point we should prepare for the worst. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I have no money. I am a mom who was preparing for cancer treatment. Wasn't gonna make a GoFundMe for that. Was just gonna try and figure things out, crochet, make enough money to maybe work it out. She made a GoFundMe for a lower amount, $9,000. That would cover a decent memorial, a venue to hold it in, a cremation, and maybe an urn. And if it was recovery, it would cover maybe a hotel room for me for a week, so that I could sleep on a nice bed, because my bones and my back have a bunch of holes in them from cancer. And maybe I could get a good night's sleep and I could get a shower. I wasn't asking for $25,000, $30,000, $100,000. It's literally the minimum so that some needs could be met. And I'm not going on here and making comments and posts and stuff being like, please don't ever GoFundMe, please don't ever GoFundMe, blah, 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 blah. As soon as we hit that $9,000, it's done. I'm cutting it out. I'm not expecting more than that. And if it did, I would probably use it to go towards, my daughter and putting into a savings or something for her for future medical needs. Because the fact is, as much as I hope that a really huge miracle happens and that she just comes out of this, the reality is that the odds are she is going to have some brain damage, which is going to require lifelong treatment. So if it ever was to be more than that, it would go to her. It would not go to me. I wouldn't be going and buying things or, what, blah, 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 blah. It would go to what it was intended for. And as far as you saying, well, if my daughter went through this, the last thing I would be due to post this. I'm not posting this for any other reason besides that people need to see the consequences of these actions of bullying. If I just said this is a tragic thing and I'm keeping it to myself, there's a very real possibility that somebody else doesn't get to see this. They don't get to see how their actions affect others. Or maybe they're getting bullied and the thoughts are going through their mind saying, oh, maybe I should just end it. They need to see that being hooked up on a bed with all those tubes and everything, possibly being brain dead, and having your loved ones suffer through it. They need to see the reality. Other parents that are going through this, look through the comments. You'll find them. I saw them. A bunch of parents were saying that they've had unfortunate situations that are just like this, where their kids were, they did the same thing. And they had the same injuries. And some of them had different results than the other. But the fact is that we all have to find common ground sometimes. We all have to be able to relate to each other. That is powerful in itself. Sorry, it's a shift change, so nurses and stuff walking through the halls and being loud. Yeah, anyway, people just need to be able to relate to each other so that we know we're not alone. That's what's called community. It's called being relatable. And, you know, when the hospital gets quiet at night and people are asleep and they're not walking the halls and the lights go dim, I sit here and I cry my eyes out. And I wonder why. And I look in the mirror in the bathroom and I look into the same blue eyes that I gave my daughter. And I try and fight the guilt. Even though I know in my head that this was her choice, that she did this. I can't help but feel that even though this was her choice and she did this, she's still my daughter. And was there something I could have done differently? Was there anything I could have done differently to prevent this? I have sat here for 3 days. I have had maybe a total of 5 hours of sleep. I post this so that others can see that they are not alone, so that I can read comments and I can know that I'm not alone. Just because you wouldn't do something doesn't mean that anybody who does things differently, that they're wrong for doing it. It's not always about monetization. It's not always about, look at me, let me, exploit people that are in vulnerable situations. It's not about any of that. It's about sharing what has happened, good and bad. I know it's a lot harder to digest when bad things are shown. But we need to be able to feel familiar and we need to be able to relate. It's important, it's powerful. Otherwise, we're going to feel so isolated that we're going to do things like my daughter did. Okay? We need to be able to relate. That is one reason why I posted this. I want other kids to see this, and I want other kids to say, oh, wow, I didn't realize just what bullying could do. That made this person do that, and then they read through the comments and they see all the other people relating and they say, wow, this really can happen. I don't want this to happen. I may want to hurt their feelings because I'm in my feelings, because I'm immature and I can't regulate myself. But I don't want that to happen. I didn't realize that could happen. Their frontal cortex is not developed. This helps them realize that. And I want other parents to see that they're not alone. And I want to see that I'm not alone. It's about awareness. It's not about anything other than that. And I hope that you see this and you understand now that, yes, there are a lot of shitty people out there that scam and grift and lie. But don't let that jade you from the people like me, like many others that turn to this app, that share their life willingly with good intentions and good purposes. We're not all bad. I hope and I wish you well.